Welcome to this Explainer Focused Learners. Today, we're unpacking some absolutely fascinating research by astrologer Kiran Gupta. We're looking at something that literally bridges the gap between ancient Hindu mythology and the very real everyday obstacles we face right now. I mean, if you've ever felt like there's this invisible wall just standing between you and success, well, the answer might actually be written in the stars, or, more specifically, in a karmic blueprint known as the Guruvanshi Chart.
Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever felt like your hard-earned degree is just completely useless in your actual day-to-day job? Or maybe you've gone through sudden, totally heartbreaking breakups that seem to come out of absolute nowhere. What if I told you that these modern frustrations could actually be the echoes of an ancient curse? I know, it sounds straight out of a movie, right? But according to the astrological research we're exploring today, these recurring life patterns are actually the hallmark of a very specific astrological lineage.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the precise astrological mechanics of who actually falls into this category. You see, a Guruvanshi chart is created by a strong relationship between two absolute heavyweight planets. We've got Jupiter, the planet of wisdom, and Saturn, the planet of karma. This happens when Jupiter and Saturn are in conjunction together in a single house or if they exchange signs. You might also spot them sitting in a trine, which just means the first, fifth, or ninth houses relative to each other, or they could be resting at very close degrees in your core birth and subdivisional charts, the D1 and D9. If any of these alignments pop up, boom, a person is considered part of the Guruvanshi lineage.
So what does having this chart actually mean for your life? Well, it is a chart of absolute extremes. On one hand, you have brilliant strengths. These folks are literally born to guide and help the world. They're highly intelligent, deep philosophical thinkers, and they very often become incredible teachers, advisors, or leaders in positions of high authority. But then there are the devastating lows. We're talking severe career blocks, incredibly painful heartbreak, and even persistent physical issues like skin problems or just this weird excess body heat. And to understand why these intense lows happen, we actually have to look backward. We have to uncover the myth.
Our mythological detective story begins thousands of years ago with a figure named Rishi Angira. He was one of the revered Saptarishis, an incredibly wise sage who was born to bring knowledge and welfare to the world. But, even the wisest figures have their blind spots, and it's exactly the hidden history of Rishi Angira that sets the stage for the karmic mysteries we're seeing in the Guruvanshi charts today.
Let's move to and see how this builds across the generations, because keeping this family tree straight is super important. We start with the first generation, Rishi Angira. Then we move down to the second generation, his son Brihaspati, who actually becomes the guru of the gods. And finally, we hit the third generation, Brihaspati's son Kutch. Now, every single generation of this lineage inherited some truly profound knowledge. But, as you're about to see, they also inherited and created some incredibly heavy karmic debts.
It really all starts with the sins of the father. Rishi Angira was this brilliant teacher, but he committed a pretty massive error: blatant favoritism. He had a student named Shukra who was incredibly dedicated, but Angira, he chose to deny Shukra the deepest, most profound knowledge, and instead, he secretly funneled all of it to his own son, Brihaspati. This specific act of cheating, denying a rightful student what they earned, resulted in a karmic curse. Angira was suddenly afflicted with this unbearable excess heat coming from inside his own body. It was basically a physical manifestation of his guilt, leading to terrible restlessness and severe skin diseases.
And the karmic turbulence definitely didn't stop with Angira. It bled right into the second generation. Brihaspati, the favored son, experienced his own deep betrayals. According to the ancient texts, Brihaspati's wife, the beautiful Tara, ended up having an affair with Chandra Dev, the moon god. Now, this ancient mythological infidelity is absolutely crucial. Why? Because, as the research points out, this frequently echoes in modern Guruvanshi charts as complex extramarital affairs or sudden unexpected cheating by a spouse. The betrayal of the past just repeats itself in the present.
But the real climax of this ancient drama, that happens in the third generation with Brihaspati's son Kutch. Kutch is sent on this dangerous quest to learn the Mrit Sanjivani Vidya, which is literally the ultimate magic of resurrecting the dead. And guess who holds this magic? Shukracharya, the exact same student Kutch's grandfather had cheated. So Kutch goes to study under him. And while he's there, Shukracharya's daughter, Devyani, falls deeply, passionately in love with Kutch. But Kutch, wanting to strictly honor his position as a student and viewing his guru's daughter essentially as a sister, firmly rejects her romantic advances.
Well, Devyani was completely heartbroken.
Feeling utterly humiliated and rejected, she unleashed a devastating curse upon Kach. In her fury, she declared, "The knowledge you acquired will be of no use to you, and the land you walk on will turn to dry sand." She cursed him to suffer from unending thirst, hunger, and heat. Guys, this wasn't just a momentary outburst. This was a powerful, lineage-altering curse that entirely stripped Kach of his ability to use the very education he had literally risked his life to get.
Now, I really want you to think about this. We've been talking about ancient sages, curses, and mythological magic, but the fascinating claim of this astrological research is that these aren't just old campfire stories. They are blueprints. If you have the Jupiter and Saturn combinations of a Guruvanshi chart, the echoes of Devyani's heartbreak and Angira's favoritism, they are vibrating in your modern life right now.
So, let's look at the real-world modern symptoms of this ancient curse, drawn directly from Kiran Gupta's research. Remember Devyani cursing Kach that his knowledge would be useless? Well, today, this manifests as people whose higher education feels completely irrelevant to their actual day jobs. Remember the heartbreak? People with this chart often face sudden, absolutely devastating failures in love. We even see the dry sand curse showing up as literal property and land disputes, alongside physical symptoms like bone expansion, blood deficiencies, or that strange excess body heat. We even see themes of obstructed lineage, think miscarriages or late childbirth, alongside constant recurring roadblocks when it comes to money and career.
So, the crucial point is understanding the parallel between the ancient cause and the modern effect. Look at the original sin on the left, Rishi Angira denying Shukra knowledge out of pure nepotism. Now compare that to the modern equivalent on the right, the stuff that triggers this bad karma today. People with this chart, or maybe their recent ancestors, might have knowingly harmed someone else's child, blocked a deserving junior from a promotion, or failed to give someone else's kid their rightful position purely out of selfish favoritism. The karmic loop? It remains exactly the same.
Now, if any of this is resonating with you, or if you're recognizing these exact patterns in your own chart, you're probably asking, okay, how do I fix it? The really good news here is that astrology isn't just about diagnosing the problem, it actually provides a clear roadmap for resolving it. The research outlines very specific, actionable remedies to help cleanse this karmic slate. And this brilliantly illustrates a core truth about this type of astrology. The most powerful remedies are often purely behavioral. Because the original sins were rooted in how humans treated each other, the fixes are too. First, never block the success of others' children. Just give them their rightful due. Second, if a relationship has to end, break up peacefully. Don't argue, don't hurl insults, and whatever you do, do not cause a Devyani-level heartbreak. If you do hurt someone, apologize. And not just once, apologize up to 10 times to genuinely clear the air. Also, if you've ever made a promise, a manat, to God or anyone else, you absolutely have to fulfill it. Finally, showing deep respect for elders, parents, and teachers, that is completely non-negotiable for this lineage.
But beyond just our everyday behavior, there are some strict spiritual rituals required to fully pacify these ancient echoes. Step 1 is performing the Satyanarayan Puja, ideally on Purnima, the full moon day, while continuously asking for forgiveness for any unfulfilled vows. Step 2 involves listening to the Asta Siddhi Katha during Brahma Muhurta. That's those very early, quiet hours of the morning right before sunrise. But honestly, step 3 is the most critical. You must ensure your mind is completely pure. Going through the physical motions of a ritual won't do a thing if your heart is still full of greed, anger, or ego. You have to genuinely believe that you are here to guide and help others.
As we wrap up this explainer on the Guruvanshi chart, I want to leave you with a thought to really carry with you today. We've seen exactly how ancient betrayals and forgotten vows can ripple through time, showing up as career blocks and heartbreaks in our modern lives. So, take a moment and look inward. Have you made a vow to a partner, a promise to a colleague, or even just a silent resolution to the universe that you simply walked away from? Do you have a promise left unfulfilled? Because, as this incredible research suggests, closing those open loops might just be the very key to unlocking your entire future.